The Indiana Fever front office are dumbasses. And I know, I just wasn't bothered finding a screenshot. This is a halftime screenshot. Justine Bissott missed her next 7 shots. I get that. I do. She ended the game on like 50% sure shooting. She missed her next 7 shots. But when you look at raw prospects, the Indiana Fever have one. Have one really, really raw prospect. I also will talk about Kelsey Plum after this. They have one extremely raw prospect last year, and it was a player by the name of Michaela Timpson. And KK went from being nearly unplayable last year. Like, you couldn't really put her on the floor. Like, as much as I would love, like, we all liked KK because of her athleticism, you couldn't really put her on the floor. You couldn't really do it. But she is now a starter. And Justine Bissott is in the same mold as KK Timpson. She's not ready to play. Like, you can't teach her size, her length, and her shooting. Just like you cannot teach KK's athleticism and wingspan. She's got like a near 7 foot wingspan. You can't teach what Justine Bissott's like arm length. Or her jump shot. But the Aces now have a player that has shown in flashes that she has an ability to come in and make an impact. She can't guard anybody. I mean that. She cannot guard anybody. And that is why the Indiana Fever got rid of her. Oh, she's not good for this year. She's not going to be good for this year. And I get that. I really do. Michaela Timpson wasn't good last year. You kept Michaela Timpson. She's now a starter. Justine Bissott might have been your long-term answer because you are probably losing Sophie Cunningham or Lexi Hull next year. You're probably losing Sophie. You're almost certainly losing Sophie. You might be losing both. There's a world where she is a competent backup 3-4 next year. There is a world where that happens. And there is a world where she is a competent starter on her minimum contract rookie deal. And people are saying, oh, but like she's a free agent after this year. Nope, she's a reserved free agent. And I don't think she's going to play enough games this year to justify this being a full season. The Las Vegas Aces are going to have 4 entire years of her on a minimum contract. 4 entire years. And the Fever let her walk for nothing. And for me, it made no sense getting rid of her and not Grace VanSlooten. Like, I like Grace VanSlooten. I was happy when we signed Grace VanSlooten. I don't think another team was going to sign VanSlooten. And I think that if they cut Grace VanSlooten, they would have had the ability to pick her up on a dev deal and have her there next year. I think they could have done it. I really, really think they could have done it. And the problem is that they, as an organization, they don't have the balls to say, you know what, we're going to make a tough call. If you guys don't know, Liska Hamzova from the Lynx was a dev player, then they signed her, then they waived her. She was brought in as a dev player. They signed her, they waived her, brought her back as a dev player, signed her to 2 7-day contracts, and then signed her for the season. The Fever haven't done that. Like, she's a higher season high than Lexi Hull. Thank you so much for $20. MVP has ever been a player who won MVP when their team was 4 points worse, put 100 possessions offensively with them on. They're 4-0 without Clark, $20. Yes, I'm like 90% sure. I don't know about offensively, but the Aces were way better per 100 possessions with Aja Wilson off the floor in 2024, and she won MVP. So absolutely, there have been players who have won MVP with negative on-off splits. They're absolutely, because Aja Wilson won unanimous. She won unanimous with negative on-off splits, and so she scored something like 5 points per game higher against sub 500 teams than she did against plus 500 teams. Like, it was almost as big a discrepancy as Caitlin this year. So basically, The on-offs and the playoffs versus non-playoff teams this year for Caitlin were basically identical. They just unanimous MVP year. So yeah, not saying that right now Caitlin's any higher than third, but no, it's absolutely possible to do it because AJ did it. Like on-off numbers don't matter too much because like you can't judge on-off numbers too much because I think Caitlin Clark has played like 85% of all minutes Danta's played this year. And they regularly ask Caitlin Clark to like run with 4 bench players. It's rare that happens to Kelsey Mitchell. So I think the on-offs, like you can always justify on-offs. Like we watch games. But yeah, it's for Passat, even today with the Fever, it's like she has shown so many flashes that she'll be somebody. And if you have a good defense coach, especially if you go send her to Europe for a year, if you send her to Europe for a year and she has to learn to play defense, maybe not send her to EuroLeague. Don't send her to a garbage team in Turkey. Send her to I think Italy, get off. Send her to on a Europe contract with one of the Spanish teams. Get her over there. It is it's one of those things where they could have made her, she could have been someone. And everyone knows she could have been somebody. And everyone also knows that she's not ready right now. Because again, I couldn't find a screenshot of her endgame stats. She did miss 7 shots in a row in the second half. She went 4 of 14. And I think she went 3 of 8 from 3. So, that happens. This is a raw, super high upside prospect who's who has a unicorn player build, who basically has Stewie dimensions. And again, has the ability to be a starting level player on her rookie deal, which is so key. Like her floor is Katie Lou Samuelson. And that's not a bad floor. That's really not a bad floor. Like if you can get Katie Lou on a minimum, you take Katie Lou on a minimum. She's not that bad at basketball. But yeah, it is what it is. But the Indiana Fever done goofed again and again and again and again and again. They done goof a lot. That's all I'm gonna say. They done goof a lot with Justine Passat, and they've done a very poor job of managing her. So yeah, that is the video.